DocTalk is brought to you by Multimin USA, manufacturers of Multimin 90, sure trace mineral supplementation by timed injection.
Hi there folks, welcome to DocTalk. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to have a great show and we're going to talk about something that's an important topic within the beef and dairy industries, and that's talking about cull cow quality. Making sure that those animals are in good flesh and good health before we ship them to slaughter. Stay tuned for the show.
We own and operate Green Mountain Angus Ranch out of Rygate, Montana. We've been in the Angus business for about 30 years now. We've been using the multi-min product for about 7 years. We started using it off the recommendation of our embryologist. He suggested that we give our recip cows a shot prior to putting embryos in. We had a real good conception rate that spring, and we've been using the product ever since.
Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value. This segment is brought to you by Rotomix, manufactured in the USA and designed for feeding performance in the feedlots, beef production, dairy, and cow-calf operations. Hi there folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, and I am a professor here at Kansas State University in the College of Veterinary Medicine. My title is the Jones Professor of Production Medicine and Epidemiology. And today, thanks for joining us on DocTalk. We're going to talk about cull cow quality, and whether we're talking about culling cows on the dairy or culling cows out of the beef herd, these animals are a significant portion of the beef that's produced, and they're a significant part of profitability for farmers and ranchers. When you talk about beef operations, cull cows represent about 20% of the revenue to a beef operation. So 80% comes from the revenue of selling the calves and 20% from selling our cull cows. So it is an important economic point for ranchers and farmers alike. I thought we'd start off today by just kind of discussing what are the reasons why we cull these animals and why do we cull them out of the herd. But the number one reason for beef cattle, the reason why we cull these animals, is because they're open or they're not pregnant. So their reproductive status, we're not going to carry them through the winter and feed them and economically keep them on the operation because they aren't going to produce a calf in the spring. The other one is age. The cattle don't have the proper dentition or teeth to be able to harvest the forage, and if they can't do that, then they can't not only take care of themselves and keep in proper body condition, but then they can't keep track of calves. Replacement for genetic improvement is the other reason, 14% of culls. And then when we get down here, some things, injuries, lameness, physical defects are other reasons why we might cull these animals. But in general terms, these animals are healthy, they just aren't reproductively sound or they don't have the dentition. So replacement for attitude and disposition is also something we look at. For culling dairy cows, it's really not a lot different. 26% of those are culled because of reproductive issues or being open. 23% of them are due to udder issues or mastitis issues. Poor production or poor milking production is another reason. Then lameness, followed by other reasons, and then sold for dairy beef are the reasons why we cull these animals. So when we're looking at cull animals, the main reasons why we see is reproductive inefficiency. In the beef animals, it might be to dentition, old age, poor production or disposition, and in the dairy side, we're going to see some of these udder issues, we're going to see some lameness issues, and things to that nature. And as we go through the show today, we're going to talk about some of these things, reasons why we cull the animals, and some of the things we want to make sure that we take care of on the farm, that we don't ship some of these animals to slaughter. You're watching DocTalk. I'm glad that you joined us, and more after the break.
This segment was brought to you by Brute Cattle Equipment, makers of the Brute Stealth Hydraulic Chute. If the chute fits, swear by it. Visit our website for more information. And by Lalaman Animal Nutrition, dedicated to the development and production of natural and differential solutions for animal nutrition.
Getting ready to work cattle for pre-breeding and calf vaccinations? There's no better time to use a safe, modified live virus vaccine to prevent BRD. Titanium provides the correct equation for BRD with its excellent safety profile and a strong response and long duration of immunity. Ask your veterinarian about modified live virus vaccines and the 8 convenient combinations of titanium for the perfect pairing of performance and value.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Beef producers need a practical choice when antibiotic therapy is required. More than ever, they are reaching for non-prescription Noromycin 300 LA from Norbrook, specially formulated to produce sustained antibiotic blood levels up to 4 days in cattle. Noromycin 300 LA delivers economic, broad-spectrum disease management for pneumonia, shipping fever, pink eye, wound infections, and foot rot. See for yourself why Norbrook's Noromycin 300 LA is the practical choice for your herd. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by Norbrook Laboratories, manufacturers of Noromycin LA, Normectin Plus, 1% and Poron, the practical choice for your herd. Hi there, folks, and welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, and we're located in Manhattan, Kansas. And today we're talking about cull cow quality. And we went through in the previous segment, we talked about some of the reasons why animals are culled. And in this segment, we're going to talk a little bit about where these animals are going and what are some of the problems that, or challenges that these animals may create for us as an industry. And the first thing is that cull cows and cull bulls, or market cows and market bulls, are utilized for, used to be thought of just utilized for ground beef. And you know, when we looked at the market cow and beef quality audit from the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, and in 1999, 54% of the slaughter facilities for cull cows and cull bulls took those animals and broke their carcasses down into steaks and roasts and other cuts rather than just ground beef. Today, nearly 85% of our slaughter facilities for cull cows and cull bulls are looking at these animals for cuts such as steaks, roasts. So these animals aren't just going to ground beef. Although they're a significant supply or significant portion of the supply of ground beef, what I'm trying to articulate is that these animals are being utilized for roasts, steaks, and other cuts, and that these fabrication places at the slaughter facilities are moving forward with these animals as well. Some of the quality challenges that market cows and market bulls, and I keep using the terms interchangeably, but market cow and market bull, or cull cow, cull bull, are common terms utilized for the same animals. But some of the things in 2007 from the beef quality audit that were raised were food safety, the animal welfare of these animals, poor body condition, antibiotic residues, bruises, and hide damage. And I want to go through a few of these and talk about them. But the food safety issue is something that's vitally important. When we look at the top 3 issues or some of the things, when we ask the American consumer about things that they want: affordable health care, they want to not be impoverished, and they want safe, affordable food supply. And so food safety, making sure that these animals are healthy, that are in good condition when they're being shipped, is important. Animal welfare and handling. We want to make sure that we're sending an animal that is healthy is considered to be, from the consumer, one that is well taken care of. So making sure that these animals aren't in poor body condition, and make sure that we handle them in a humane manner as we transport the animals. Antibiotic residues, when we're talking about cull animals, sometimes they're being culled because they're not responding to treatment, or because these animals are being shipped because they're not thrifty anymore and they're not producing muscle mass, or they're not able to keep their body conditioned. So we want to make sure that we adhere to the residue or antibiotic withdrawal time periods for these animals prior to shipment. We just want to make sure that when we're handling these animals, these cull animals, that food safety, antibiotic residue, and animal welfare are all considered. When we come back from the break, we're going to discuss more about cull cow quality. You're watching DocTalk. I'm glad you joined us.
This tip brought to you by Baytril 100 Enrofloxacin Injectable, now approved for use in controlling BRD in high-risk cattle. Baytril 100, right the first time, whether it's controlling BRD in high-risk cattle or treating BRD.
Hi there folks, I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, and this week's On the Farm tip, sponsored by Bayer Animal Health, focuses on low-stress cattle handling of sick cattle. When a calf is identified with bovine respiratory disease in its home pen, we have to move it to the hospital. Those animals should not be run or stirred up as they're sick with a respiratory disease. If they get to the hospital pen system and we're going to have a delay before we doctor them, be sure to give those animals shade, water, and a little bit of hay. Now, when we move those animals through our system, through the tub, it's important not to mix larger animals with smaller animals, as those animals can become trampled or get pinned underneath the large animals, and the outcome's not good. Low-stress cattle handling, early disease identification, all of these things are important to assure animal health. This is your On the Farm tip from Bayer Animal Health, and I'll see you down the road.
With BRD, every second counts. And when you get new high-risk cattle, you've got a choice to make. You can either take your chances and wait and see what happens, or you can take charge of BRD. Right from the start, treat bacteria up front with Baytril 100 Enrofloxacin Injectable, now approved by the FDA for BRD metaphylaxis in high-risk cattle. Ask your veterinarian about Baytril 100 and make it your go-to drug to control BRD in high-risk cattle or for treatment of BRD. Baytril 100, right the first time.
Dr. Dan here. Whether I'm driving up and down the roads covering the state of Kansas, or I'm getting between Riley and Manhattan for my job, I'm driving a Ford truck. I'd like you to come out and visit my friends here at Dick Edwards Ford. They have a truck that'll suit your needs, whether you're looking for power with a Power Stroke diesel, or if you're looking for fuel efficiency with the new EcoBoost engine, they got a truck that's just right for you. They're located 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall in Manhattan, Kansas, and they'll bend over backwards to help you. And I'll see you down the road.
Hi, I'm Kevin Ochsner, host of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman and Colorado Rancher. Join me each week as the National Cattlemen's Beef Association brings you the latest updates in industry information and market news. Plus, each week we provide important educational information and features on cattlemen from across the country just like you. And we can't forget our favorite cowboy poet, Baxter Black. Join me for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, debuting Tuesday nights at 8:30 Eastern, right here on RFD TV.
We started using Multiman 3 or 4 years ago. Anytime that you're able to supply a product like this that can boost the immunity system, get a better response from your vaccines, it kind of fits into a total program. We just feel like that the Multiman is kind of a reassurance that we're getting the most and the best performance possible.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
This segment is brought to you by Fink Beef Genetics. Our 23rd annual bull sale featuring 400 Angus and Charolais bulls is Wednesday, October 30th. Contact us at 785-293-5106 for more information and to be added to our mailing list.
Hi there folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University. I'm glad you joined us today. We're talking about something that has a lot of implications for the beef and dairy industries, and that's cull cow quality. Because this can be a huge animal welfare breach. And when we start to think about the animals that we're shipping to slaughter and the animals that are going into public places, whether it's an auction market or to a slaughter facility, we need to ask ourselves before we ship those animals off the farm, number one, could this been prevented, the condition that the animal's in? Number two, could we have shipped that animal or made a decision earlier before they get into this type of situation? And lastly, you know, the question I always ask myself before I put an animal out in public, or before would I eat this animal? Was this an animal that I would like to consume or send to slaughter to put on the plate to serve to my family? And I think that as we make these decisions and as we move forward, I think 90% of the producers out there say, yeah, this is something that they ask themselves on a regular basis. And as we elevate the status of this, or as we elevate the visibility of these issues, I think that we need to kind of look forward to some of the red flags in animals that we don't want to ship. And we talked about it in earlier shows about animals that aren't fit for transport. But the big one is we don't ship animals that are non-ambulatory, and we don't ship animals that could become non-ambulatory during transport. So animals that are weak. And what's ambulatory means they can't get up and move freely on their own. So whether it's due to a lameness or an animal's down, we don't want to ship those animals to slaughter or anywhere. Those animals, if they're not responding to treatment, need to be humanely euthanized. The animals that are weak, fatigued, may go down on transport, we want to make sure that we understand the length of the haul, where we're shipping those animals, and make sure we don't place those animals that may go down on the truck on the trailer, because these are animals that could pose us some problems and pose problems for the animal. It's not humane to put an animal on the truck that's going to go down. Some of the reasons why we wouldn't, we don't want to ship animals that are cancer-eye cows due to bovine leukosis virus. We want to make sure that animals that are in poor body condition aren't placed on trucks. And with dairy cows, we have a 5-point body condition scoring system, and in beef cattle, we have a 9-point. But I think at the point in time, regardless of the scoring system, if these animals have their ribs exposed and the pelvic bones are easily definable, these are the animals that are too thin to be transported, and we either need to put body condition on them to give them strength so that they can be shipped with other animals, or we need to find a different manner in which we're going to do with these animals. We never want to ship animals that are sick, regardless of the cause, whether it's pneumonia, nervous system disorders, things to that nature. And so making sure that the animals are in good condition, good health, something that we want to be proud of that's placed on the truck, is important. You're watching DocTalk, and when we come back from the break, we're going to wrap up Cull Cow Quality. Thanks for joining us. This segment is brought to you by Purple Wave Auction, the easiest, most straightforward way to sell used equipment. Purple Wave, straight, simple, sold.
From Kansas State University, this is Agriculture Today. K-State recently hosted an informational exchange between the university's grain scientists and a group from Pakistan. The goal to discover answers to a rapidly expanding insect problem in stored grain and stored food products. It's called the Capra beetle, as K-State's Bhadraraju Subramaniam explains.
This is a devastating pest of all grains. The adults do not feed, but the larvae are package penetrators. It's a pest that one needs to be careful about, because in the absence of food, the pest can survive for about 7 years. It has a stage called diapausing stage. So when the food is available, then they start growing.
This is K-State Research and Extension.
Cow-calf, stocker, and feedlot producers know that effective parasite control improves overall herd performance and profitability. Norbrook offers a comprehensive, economical line of pour-on and injectable parasiticides for every livestock operation. Consult with your local animal health supplier to set up a program that protects your investment and brings larger cattle checks this fall. See for yourself why the Noromectin line from Norbrook is the practical choice for your herd.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center, and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
Got cattle? Rotomix manufactures a complete line of energy-efficient rotary and vertical feed mixers for feedlots, beef production, dairy, and cow-calf operations. Our mixers are available with the patented Generation 2 staggered rotor, the industry standard for feeding wet rations that include wet distiller's grain. Made in the USA, Rotomix mixers are designed for feeding performance that American cattlemen and dairy producers have come to expect. Rotomix, proud to offer a better mix in less time using less fuel.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hi there, folks. Welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University. We are talking about cull cow quality. And I would say the number one thing on cull cow quality is making the decision to cull the animal early or before the animal becomes unfit. We cull these animals for many different reasons, whether it's due to reproductive losses, whether it's due to drought and we don't have pasture or feedstuffs. And it may be that the animal had an injury or something that it's not recovering the way we would like it to recover. I think it's important for farmers, producers, veterinarians, all of us working in the beef and dairy industries to make sure that when we cull an animal, we're making that decision at the point in time in which the animal is salvageable. We also want to make sure that we don't have any antibiotic residues. So making sure that you adhere to the withdrawal times set for drugs or for vaccines or things that we might utilize in animals to prevent residues is of the utmost importance. We also want to make sure that we understand that this is a pretty big area for revenue for dairies and for beef ranches. 20% of the revenue for cow-calf facilities or ranches comes from our cull animals. Farm animal care is important to all of us, and in the beef industry and in the dairy industry. And these animals, when placed in a public situation, can raise the visibility of animal welfare problems. So understanding that don't cull an animal to a slaughter facility or to a sale barn from your ranch or from your dairy unless that's an animal that you're proud of to have placed out in the public eye. I think it's an important area that we see with animal welfare, and it's one of those things that has caused a black eye. Make sure that we handle downed cows and non-ambulatory cows in a humane manner where we provide them shelter, feed, and water. If these animals do not improve, we want to make sure that we humanely euthanize them. Salvageable animals are animals that are ambulatory, that can walk onto the trailer, they're fit for transport, they're free of drugs, and it's something that we want to make sure that we are doing the right things and making the right decision. Unfit animals, animals that should not be, are animals that are weak, animals that are sick, animals that are injured from something that is causing them not to be able to walk or be able to be fit for transport. Again, cull cow quality and understanding food safety, animal welfare, and environmental stewardship surrounding these animals is of the utmost importance as we move forward within our industries, as we're forming the partnerships not only with the ranches, feedlots, slaughter facilities, wholesalers, and retailers, but as we work with transparency towards our consumer. I really appreciate you joining us today. Remember, we always recommend that you work with your local veterinarian. If you want to know more about what I do here at the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, you can find us on the web at www.vet.ksu.edu. Thanks for joining me today on DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, and I'll see you down the road. Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value.
DocTalk, produced in cooperation with Drovers Cattle Network and Bovine Veterinarian. For more information about this program or previous programs, go to DocTalkTV.com. DocTalk was brought to you by Multimin USA, manufacturers of Multimin 90, sure trace mineral supplementation by timed injection,